Hey everybody, we're going to take on a fairly difficult challenge, which is generating a random sequence of students. So here we go. This is called 6.4 on the lessons, and we want to take our students and send them to a museum every single day, and we want to have a sequence of those students. So I've got the list already made, and I'm ready to use the random command and repeat. And I will pause a little bit at intervals so that you're going to see how I'm going to do this, but you're also going to be a little bit interactive as you listen because you'll figure out answers as I pause. Okay? We know that the list commands are under data, and if you look down at the list commands, which one command is going to tell me how many students we have? I'll give you a hint by pointing. Which command is going to tell me the length? Aha, length of students. And I want to hold that on in the variable. So which of the things I'm going to do here to have a variable? I've got a variable x, but I want a variable L for length. So I'm going to make a new variable L, and now I need a command that will put the length of students into L. So that command that puts the length of students into L is which of these? Set, change, show variable. There it is, set. So set L to be the length of students. Now I want to pick a random number from 1 to what? Well, I've got 6 students going to the museum today, so it's going to be picking a random number from 1 to L. Hope you said L. So I'll take the L from right there, and that's going to pick a random student. And now I need the command that's going to find that student. So let me go down to the list commands. Which command here would actually find the student who might be item 3 or item 4 or item 7? Which one? Add, delete, insert, replace. Item. Item something of students. So we're picking a student, and the student's going to be random 3 or random 4 or random 5. So what we want to do is get hold of that. We want that to be, I'm going to call it I for item. I'm going to have a variable I for item. Data, make a variable I, and I'm going to set I to be the random number, because now I know which student has been chosen. Whatever I comes up to be, that's the student that we've chosen. So item I of students, so I'm going to put I over here, and that's the one we're going to say out loud. Say, hey, you're the student we chose. So get the say command. And so we want to say the name of that student. We don't want to say I, we want to say the name of that student. Right? Which command here, say item I of students. Say item I of students for 2 seconds. And now here comes the key idea. After we say the student and we say, Kevin, you're first, we want to remove Kevin. We want to get rid of Kevin. Which list command gets rid of Kevin? Delete. Delete will get rid of not 1, but delete will get rid of item. What variable is the one we're doing? Which variable? I, right? I. So delete I of the students. So this is the logic. And we're just going to assemble it together. L is the length of students. I picks a random number. We say the student who wins. We delete that student. And we put this in a loop so that this will happen not 10 times, but this will happen whatever, I guess we could say until the list is empty, or we probably could say the length of students. I'm scared to say the length of students because that's going to change each one. But okay, we're on video and maybe there's a bug, but I'm going to say the length of students. Okay, my fingers are crossed. We'll see if this works. Are we ready? 1, 2, 3, green flag. Green flag, go. Oh, green flag. How stupid. I forgot to go when the flag is clicked. 1, 2, 3, green flag, go. Larry. Susie. Brady. Kevin. Alice. Georgia. Ah, the list is empty. Oh my God, I messed up. How am I going to do this tomorrow? Yikes, the program worked, but the list is empty. Oh my God, I messed up. You know what I'm going to have to do? This works fine, but we're going to have to remember the list before we do it. So quickly, I better generate my list back in here. And then I'm going to have a second list because I'm going to have to preserve the list. Okay. I'm going to have to preserve the list so that we will have a preserved list. Then we'll make the list shrink to nothing and we'll have our sequence. You're going to have to forgive me because I forgot all the names here. Kevin. I think one was Georgia and one was Alice. Well, even if that's not the same, we have Alice already. Okay, so we're going to just say Reggie. Okay, so here's the idea. We need a separate list. Before we destroy this list, we're going to have a separate list called second list or another list. How do I make a list, folks? I go to data and I'm going to make a list. We have one list called students, but this is a backup. That's what we want. I'll make a list called backup. And now I'll write a little program that will make the backup inherit the main list. So I will find out the length of students, and I will repeat for the length of students. Repeat length of students. So how many got this time? 6. And what I'm going to say is I want to say insert. I want to sort of basically duplicate the list. So I'm going to say replace. Let me make this bigger for your eyes here. Replace item 1. No, not 1. We're going to need a counter. Okay, we're going to need something to count here. So we need a variable counter. And counter is going to be 0 when it begins. And counter is going to increase by 1. And we're going to say replace item counter of backup with what? In other words, the backup list is empty. So we're going to replace item 1 of backup with item 1 of students. So that means Reggie might be the first student, becomes the first one in backup. But we do this not just for the first student, but because it's in a loop, then it's going to go counters 2, counters 3, counters 4, all the way up to counter 6. And so the backup list becomes the one that we're going to use. We're going to do the second half of this not on students. We're never going to decrease students. We're never going to remove students. We're going to change this one to say a backup. So the program logic is only working on the backup of the data, and the students are always going to be there. Now there's one bug here, and I'm going to let the bug happen, and you can puzzle it out for a second, and there is definitely a bug. So Grace Murray Hopper and all the other people who found the first bug in the 1940s, forgive me for this bug. I'm going to click the green flag. Nothing happens. Look at my backup list. It doesn't get populated. I want my backup list to go. It doesn't happen. What's going on? What's going on? You can't replace item 1 of backup. This, by the way, is supposed to be counter. But you can't do it if there's no item there. It's a little quirk of just the way lists behave. You can't replace item 1 of backup with item 1 of students. You can't do that until you have an item. So that you need to have an item. So I'm just going to say add something to backup so that backup has item 1. And now we can replace. So we're adding just an item. We're adding an item to backup. So backup has 1 item. The next time through the loop, backup has 2 items. And then we're replacing item 1 of backup with item 1 of students. So now the bug has been solved, and you'll see down here, if you look, okay, you'll see where backup is. I think I can move this up a little bit, and I can actually put backup here. And watch what happens when I do the green flag. You ready? I wonder if I should put in the wait command. Yeah, I think that would be better for your eyes in watching this happen. If I say wait 1 second, and I stick that in this loop, right? Then in fact, you'll sort of see it each second at a time. On your mark, get set, go. Reggie, Georgia, Kevin, Brady, Larry, Alice gets populated. The random list for today is Georgia, Reggie, Larry, Brady, Alice, Kevin. Did it do in reverse order? I hope not. I hope not. Let me generate it one more time. Here comes the list. Who's the first student chosen? First student is Alice. Then Kevin. Oh, good, it's not order. Then Brady. Then Reggie. Then Georgia. Then Larry. So the program works. And what you want to do as a learner here is study this program. I've shared it so you can have access to it. You study it, then forget about it for 24 hours, and then see if you can recreate it. It has 2 parts. Part 1 is simply duplicating the student list, the student array, to backup. And it's pretty straightforward. It's going through the student list and simply item by item moving that one, duplicating it over there, replacing it there. To my knowledge, there's no duplicate list command, and that's why we have to do it this way. And the reason we have to do it this way is so we don't lose the student list. Because in the second half of the program, it is picking 1 item at a time and removing randomly, and so therefore that list becomes nothing. All right, I would love to help you individually if you have questions on this. I am sorry this is long. I did say this was a difficult challenge, but it's all part of our growing as programmers and learning to use these commands. And that's what you got to appreciate, is your growth and understanding, not in any way your frustration and saying, hey, this is not easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It really isn't. And you get better with each example you do. Okay, Steve Bergen signing off. Bye.